Good afternoon, everyone. My name is JinHee, and I'm from Pepperdine University. And this is my co-presenter, Krashen.
Hi everyone, my name is Krashen and I come from University of South Florida.
It's very nice to meet you online. Today we will present our study on enhancing vocabulary acquisition through AI-driven IXL platform. The background of our study is multilingual learners make up more than 10% of US public school students. In California, almost 1 in 5 students is multilingual. However, they face unique challenges, specifically with vocabulary. Subtle differences in education and context make it hard to choose the right word. Data shows that only 9% of grade 4 multilingual learners reach reading proficiency compared to nearly 40% overall. The purpose of our study is to propose a digital transformation solution that leverages AI to support um, learners' vocabulary acquisition. Focus is on addressing semantic difficulties and cultural context while also preparing students for standardized tests. I'm going to move to the next slide. Our research framework is grounded from 3 key learning theories. First, Krashen's input hypothesis reminds us that language acquisition thrives when learners receive input just beyond their their current level, what he calls comprehensible input. Second, constructivism, as framed by Harrison and building. In our model, AI platforms serve as mediators for this process, allowing learners to construct meaning through personalized practice. Third, connectivism highlights the role of human technology networks. Our approach leverages AI not just as a tool, but as part of a broader learning ecosystem, connecting students, teachers, and digital resources in real time. Let me move to the next slide. The next slide is about motivation and engagement. To sustain engagement, we integrated Keller's ARCS model, focusing on attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction. AI tools help capture attention through multimodal content, while relevance is built through culturally responsive vocabulary and real-world applications. Confidence grows as learners receive immediate feedback and scaffolded support, and satisfaction is reinforced through progress tracking and gamified elements. We also adapted from communities of practice, encouraging peer collaboration, shared glossaries, collective problem solving, especially important for multilingual learners navigating nuanced vocabulary. The next slide is about digital and pedagogy design. Multimodality. Our design framework is based on incorporating text, image, and video to support diverse learning styles. We emphasize collaborative intelligence where AI augments teacher practice rather than replacing it. This allows for differentiated instruction, real-time adaptation, and inclusive process, especially critical for multi-learners who benefit from layered supports. Our goal is to create a digital learning environment that is responsive, equitable, and pedagogically sound. The next slide is about developing digital solutions. AI-driven platforms provide personalized learning, adaptive content, and instant feedback. Popular apps like Duolingo, Kindle's Vocabulary Builder, and Grammarly illustrate how learners can practice anywhere, anytime with real-time scaffolding. I'm going to hand it over the next slides to my co-author, Wei-Shin.
All right, let's start by looking at some AI-powered platforms that support vocabulary learning, and each one brings something a little bit different to the table. For example, Memrise uses fast repetition and a game-like review to make memorizing words both fun and effective. And Quizlet helps students connect sounds, images, and meanings through flashcards, which is great for visual and auditory learners. And then there is Fluent U, which takes vocabulary beyond textbooks by using the real-world videos and helping learners to see how words are used in natural and cultural context. What's exciting is the research shows combining different AI tools can actually boost motivation and long-term retention. So instead of traditional word lists, these platforms turn vocabulary learning into something more interactive, engaging, and meaningful, especially for multilingual learners. Could you please turn to the next page? Great. Now let's move to a concrete example, the IXL platform. IXL is an adaptive learning system that constantly analyzes how students perform and adjusts the difficulty level automatically. It doesn't just mark answers right or wrong, it explains why and gives hints to guide the next step. That kind of personalized feedback helps students stay confident and keep progressing. Large-scale studies in California found that the IXL users scored about 12 to 13% higher in reading and vocabulary than students who didn't use it. So for multilingual learners, IXL acts more almost like a digital learning partner, supporting practice, tracking growth, and giving teachers some valuable data to differentiate instruction. It really shows how teachers and AI can work together to make learning more personalized and efficient. Let's move on to the next page. Now let's take a closer look at the research methods we used in this study. We adopted an explanatory sequential mixed method design, which means we first collected quantitative data and then followed up with qualitative exploration to understand the results more deeply. Our participants were 30 multilingual learners from 2 middle schools in California, and the intervention lasted 8 weeks, during which students participated in AI interactive integrated vocabulary learning sessions. If you look at the table on the right, you can see that our data collection was divided into two parts. On the quantitative side, we use a map growth test to measure gains in vocabulary and reading comprehension. We also use the IXL analytics dashboard to track practice frequency, accuracy, and mastery level over time. For analysis, we ran descriptive statistics and pair sample t-test to compare pre and post intervention results. On the qualitative side, we collected student reflection journals, teacher observation logs, and open-ended surveys. And this helps us capture emotional engagement, motivation, and attitudes toward AI use in class. We then apply semantic coding to identify common patterns in learners' motivation and perceived benefits. Altogether, these two data sources allow us to understand not just how much progress students made, but also why that progress happened. Let's turn to next page. So let's look at what we found. The charts here summarize the main results of our analysis. On the left, you can see the bar graph comparing vocabulary scores before and after AI integration. Students showed an average improvement of 15%, and the paired t-test result T29 equals 4.67, and p-value indicates that the gain was statistically significant. And below that, the line graph shows vocabulary mastery growth over the 8-week period using IXL analytics. The blue line here represents students with higher engagement, and the orange line shows lower engagement. By week 8, there was about 18% difference in mastery rate, showing that consistent AI practice clearly led to better results. And on the right, you can see the qualitative themes from student reflections and teacher journals. Then students described AI practice as rewarding and less stressful than traditional drills, while teachers value the real-time dashboards that help them spot learning gaps and adjust lessons. Learners also highlighted personalization, immediate feedback, and adaptive pacing as key motivators. And overall, both quantitative and qualitative findings tell the same story. AI-powered vocabulary learning enhances motivation, engagement, and measurable performance for multilingual learners. Let's move on to the next page. Of course, like any study, we also have some limitations because we only had 30 participants and the project lasts just 8 weeks, so we can make broad generalizations yet. And also students didn't have all equal digital access maybe, and which might have influenced how much they use the platform. But looking ahead, we want to include a larger and more diverse sample and extend the duration of the study. We also plan to integrate conversational AI tools like ChatGPT or Elsa Speak to provide real-time speaking and pronunciation feedback. Also, one more exciting direction is exploring AI teacher AI co-design, where educators and AI systems work together to create more interactive and more human-centered lessons. Let's move on to the last page. To wrap up, this study highlights the transformative power of AI in supporting the multilingual learners' vocabulary growth. When we combine adaptive AI tools with teacher expertise, we can create learning environments that are personalized and engaging. Some platforms like IXL, Memrise, and Quizlet shows that technology, when used thoughtfully, can help teachers reach every learner, giving students both confidence and motivation to keep improving. So the goal isn't to replace teachers, but to amplify what they can do. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this project sparks more conversation about how AI can make language learning more inclusive and inspiring.
Thank you.